All right. Yeah, and get
Yeah,
started. All right.
we'll have our intro just be like complaining.
Honestly. Uh, hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boys, Osia, Jacob, back at it again with another podcast.
Back at
Um,
it again with another unclaimed,
podcast,
uncopyright claimed podcast.
non-technical issued podcast.
No technical issues. Back from the dead. Back from hiatus.
No, yeah, like what Jacob said while we were recording. Yeah, we're gonna complain a lot, mainly just because of the YouTube copyright still, and also the reason we didn't post the podcast last week was because we had recorded a podcast that weekend and it sounded fine, at least when me and Jacob were talking to each other. But when we got the actual, or at least when we downloaded it, and then, and at least when Jacob was editing it and rendering it, and he found out that he couldn't really hear his voice at all due to his new microphone, which he still hasn't been able to fix yet. But
Sure.
yeah, but yeah, and so we had to scratch that podcast, but we will revisit that movie and that album soon. And but for now, we're coming back out again with something that's kind of different too, just because we've been busy with summer school and things like that. So like
Yeah.
this podcast, we each other recommended a different album, but we watched the same movie. And so yeah, we're gonna dive right into that. And so, first off, for music, Jacob recommended me AMO XO. Oh, yeah, how do you say that? It's like XD, but like what face would be like XO, like
Uh,
dead?
it's to the face anime girls make when
They get
they
penetrated.
see a cute boy. If anyone knows
Um,
that
but
face.
yeah, it was an album made by No Vacation. So a really short album. Honestly, the shortest album I've ever heard. It's only
Yeah.
8 songs, and it's 13 minutes long, almost 14 minutes long. So it was pretty short. Like I started listening to like the first song, Late Morning Breaky, and as soon as you know it, like I look on my phone again, it's the last song. I'm like, whoa, like I just started playing this. Like, how is this taking that long? And honestly, it's a really melancholic album. I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt the simp in the air when I was listening to this album.
You felt the simp in the air?
Yeah, yeah, it was really melancholic. It kind of reminded me of Monsters and Men.
So, oh yeah, no. I know what you're talking about monsters and men. That's
Yeah.
it would also, hold on. It would also like remind me of that. But I don't know. I didn't know you could use simp to describe that.
Yes, I can. I'm probably not using the term correctly either way. Like Pog. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a streamer. I don't watch streams, but anyway. But yeah, it was a really nice album. I really enjoyed Bedroom Melody and actually the first song, Late Morning Breaky. And there was a lot of acoustics in this album too. That kind of like that really added to the melancholy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I like how they use the acoustics and the was it electrical stuff.
Mhm.
But what was it?
I don't know.
God, I lost my train of thought real quick. Um, I don't know. I really like the vibe of the album. My brother introduced me to this band, and it was just it was a really cool. I think I was introduced to another one of their singles because that's what this band mainly produces, just a bunch of
Singles.
singles. Yeah, and all of that because they're not really that big, and this is like the one real album that they have that's like labeled an album that's more than like 5 minutes long. So I wanted to recommend you it because it to me I love the band. It's a great band. I still listen to it occasionally, and
Mhm.
it's like a nice band to sort of put your brain out to, and listen to something that's not like super jamming, but it's just mellow.
Yeah,
That's the that's the whole feel you get when you listen to this to me, or it's just you get mellowed out.
yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Like it was a really mellow album, and well, honestly, I was listening to this album while I was like cleaning the bathroom, so I feel like that's why it went by so fast, just because I was like occupied. But it was a really quick album. Some of the songs are like 40 seconds at most, and they're like a minute straight. And but yeah, again, a really short album, a really good album too. So like I really didn't pick up a lot of much of the lyricism because as I said, I was like cleaning the bathroom. But from what I heard, it was mainly just like how would I say like relationship wise is for like relationship things like is what kind of I picked up from, especially since the band is a guy and a girl. So you can really see like those two perspectives, like the perspective of the guy in the relationship, and the perspective from the girl in the relationship, and how they communicate.
Yeah, you can definitely see that, especially in bedroom melody,
Mm-hmm.
where it sort of directly ties to that in a very acoustic manner. That to me feels a bit raw, which is
Yeah.
which is just like a nice little package to put together for this like really short album. Just a nice package of just a relationship and going into the different perspectives of it and seeing how they both view it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. It's condensed. It's like a digestible package that you don't have to sit around and wait an hour to finish. It's just something that you can put on, and then as soon as it's on, it's sort of off, and you get the whole experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's a packed album, but you get it's worthwhile.
Yeah,
Right. But
no,
yeah,
it's definitely worthwhile.
yeah. Honestly, like it's worth the 14 minutes of your time because it's just really melancholic, and plus it's it's a really good album, and I really enjoyed it. And on to the next album, which I recommended you, kind of like last minute. Um,
So you recommended to me "Let Them Talk" by
yes,
Hugh Laurie, and we
Hugh
both
Laurie.
didn't realize that he actually sang because he's an
Yeah,
actor. He's best known for his acting roles.
yeah. He played House MD. Um,
Yeah,
I loved him in House. He was such an ass. Like he was
yeah.
such a
I, I
dick. It was so funny.
I never watched House MD, but heard it was good.
It's a really good doctor show. He's this arrogant prick that's addicted to uh he's addicted to painkillers. It's and just the way like he has like these like every time he ridicules people, he does it in such a way that's just like it's so funny, but at the same time like you're like oof, like that person's not gonna be able to recover.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's so funny. Like um and he's also like that sort of like unorthodox doctor. Like he'll try to do everything himself, or like he'll like and then so like there's this one point in the show where he reaches where he has to teach a bunch of med students as probation, and he's just like such an ass to them. Like just by walking into the room, he's just like, all right, everybody from this side of the room, you're already out. It was just so funny. I'm like, bro.
That's I gotta watch House MD then.
No, yeah, it's funny. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, that was the last time I saw him. Like his acting gig. That was like what 2014. Yeah,
2014.
2014. Yeah, it was like 6 years ago. And then
Man,
this
that's crazy.
album came out 2013, so it was like a year before his acting career took off.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
That's really crazy. Uh,
but
but uh, but to comment on the album, at least his singing.
mhm.
He sings in every one of these songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a great singing voice, a great
No,
bluesy
yeah, I
song.
know.
It is, it's
I got
really good.
chills. I got chills when I listened to St. James Infirmary. Like
Yeah,
I got chills. I was just like, ooh, like why didn't I know this? Why didn't I know this about him? Like why didn't I know about this sooner?
yeah. No, St. James Infirmary is one
It's,
of it's one of the best songs on the album, if not the best.
yeah, honestly, it kind of is. But yeah, honestly, I loved every because he really revisits like the how would I say like the oldies of blues and jazz. Because you have St. James Infirmary, like that was sung in like Louis Armstrong's time. You had Battle of Jericho. Um,
Battle of Jericho
hmm,
is like to me the best song. I love that.
yeah, dude, like it's
I
like
love
you could really feel its blues and it's like its roots.
that.
Because honestly,
Yeah,
like not to be offensive or anything, but like the Battle of Jericho sounded like a folk song, like you would sing while working the fields. You know?
yeah. No, it sounded like a slave song.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't want to
like
say that, but yeah.
hey, I could say it. I'm a person of color,
Oh my goodness.
but um, no, no. To me, it had those low hums. You know, it's like ooh, it had
Joshua
the
the
rhythm,
battle,
had the rhythm for everything, and so you could like, what is it? Really feel like just you're a slave working on the fields, dog. And you could hear them, you could hear them singing that.
yeah, and I really like, well, at least for me, I really like particular like the sort of accuracy of like the song, because that's what actually happened when Joshua first entered the holy the promised land. He had to. Well, originally he wasn't supposed to fight all the kingdoms. God was going to drive him out with pestilence, but they ended up doubting him, and they had to fight every single kingdom out. And the first kingdom was Jericho, and Jericho was like this huge city fortress with like these towering walls and like these strong defensive walls. And like the people with that lived within the walls of Jericho, like they didn't fear the Israelites because they were just like, how can you knock down our impenetrable fortress? And just the Lord said, just come to me, and the battle will be in your hands, Joshua. So like when everything ran and the walls, as the song says, the walls came tumbling down. It was just like really, like I really felt it, like I really saw it as I like like when I read the story, when I plus when versus when I hear the song, like it's really accurate on both of those ends.
All right, I left for a quick minute. Everybody on the podcast, I had to attend to other matters real quick, but we're back. We're back and we're ready, and we have the action. So we were just talking about Battle of Jericho, the slave song. Not
Yes.
not that it's like actually about slavery, because it's not. And right before this, OCL was just talking about the great imagery that the Battle of Jericho has inside of its music, as well as just great beat altogether. I'm a little raspy in my voice, sorry, but you know, just hearing it, that I'd like to champion it again, where it's just like you could definitely see slaves working in a plantation just hymning the song and getting off to it, because it's fucking deep. It's great. It has that imagery that is perfect for that kind of feeling, and it definitely it puts you into a very particular place in, in like American geography, and it's awesome for just being able to do that.
Yeah, as we said, yeah, like I pictured like it was like a folk song. It's like something like a kind of a specific kind of song you would hear specific region or specific people singing it. And as I said before, like Hugh Laurie at this point, he's singing a lot of classic like jazz and blues songs because in the album he sings, I think it's I forgot the name of the song. I think it's Red Hot, but oh, let me Hugh, Laurie,
Uh,
playing the
oh
piano.
yeah, they're red hot.
Yeah, they're Red Hot. That song was, I believe it's originally sang by Robert Jackson,
Hmm.
record in the 1930s. So they said like these were some really old songs. Um, so it's just really interesting to see him on the sort of like his remastered version of all like the songs of like the golden age of jazz and blues, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that album.
Yeah, no. The stuff he adds onto it, like I remember our first podcast, we were talking about Jimi Hendrix and
Mm-hmm.
how we were talking about All Along the Watchtower and how that was originally a Bob Dylan song. Freddie, that was originally a Bob Dylan song. Jimi Hendrix sang it and put a completely different spin on it, just with his tone of voice and everything, adding on to what already was a fantastic song. And then, like, to me, this is like Hugh Laurie doing this to the old '30s jazz songs, in the golden age of jazz. He in this time in the 2000s has sort of put his own take and has elevated it to another level.
No, yeah, perfect. But I agree with you there because Saint James Infirmary was sung by like a lot of people. Like an example being like Saint James Infirmary, like it was sung by Cab Calloway, Louis Armstrong, and honestly, I really preferred Hugh Glorie's take better than Cab Calloway's. Honestly,
Mm.
because Hugh Glory just has like this essence of like jazz. So like it's like pure essence, like you can't fake it. And Cab Calloway, of course, his version was like in the 1930s. So like you had like that sort of what do I call it? You see, you had that authenticness to it that it's in the 1930s. Like it sounds like a bit like if it's playing on a record, and he
Mm.
has like this he puts it up a few octaves, so he hits a little bit more high notes than what the song would originally sound like. But that's why I really enjoyed View Glory's better because it's smooth, it's mellow, it's a lot cooler. It's a lot cooler and a lot more interesting to hear than say Cap Calloway's or Louis Armstrong's version.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. Where it's so much better just because of Hugh Lowry's take on it. It's he really does something when when he's singing this album, and it came to a complete surprise to me. Because I came in and I remember you had originally recommended this for me just to sort of tell the story for everyone. You just told me to listen to St. James and Saint James Infirmary
Yeah.
originally, just to listen to him on my own, and I'd ask you if it was for the podcast. You eventually said, you know what? Yeah, no, let's just listen to the whole album for the podcast. I thought it was the album's name, uh,
Hmm.
but no. So that's kind of how we decided it. Me listening to this album, and I'm sorry again, but when you hear just James Infirmary at the very beginning, you are instantly stunned and brought into this jazz bluesy really journey. If I was to describe this album, it's like a jazz journey
Yeah.
with Laurie.
And essentially, it's like the entire history of it. Because honestly, like even though Hugh Glory's like he's like a jazz artist and everything, like an actor as well. Like he recorded it in Ocean's Way Studio.
Mhm.
I think he recorded that album in Ocean Way Studio, and that's how you know he's a good artist because you have to be completely legendary, like BB King, Frank Sinatra. I think some Nina Simone recorded in that studio as well. So like how that you have to be a really good artist and a really good singer and talented musician if you're able to play and record in Ocean's Way Studio because once you hit Ocean's Way Studio in Hollywood, you've made it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
totally.
so like seeing this or hearing this album is just really really gives you sort of an insight on what jazz was back in the day, how it and how it's evolved from back then to now.
No, totally. You know, and especially with him just singing those old jazz songs and today and adding
Yeah,
a whole new depth to them, which which is just amazing. It's great, and it really speaks to these songs as well that many different artists sing them, and they could have so much depth put into them, even 70 years apart, 78 years apart.
yeah, and yeah, but like I said, like and then at least for me, what really got me into like jazz and blues was sort of the technique that's used for the guitar in jazz and blues. Because you know, with jazz and blues and like that sort of genre of music, you use a lot of sliders and a lot of high end notes on the lower side of the fret on the lower part of the fretboard of the guitar. So just to hear, you know, like that slider, the interesting tones and sounds that you can make with the slider and a guitar, and also if the guitar has a resonator as well, it's just really fun to hear that all mix up into the jazz. And you hear that in St. James Infirmary too, from like here and there, you hear that slide, that on that finger slide, just slide on on the blues guitar a bit, and it's just really interesting to see that.
Oh yeah, no, and to me that's barely utilized today, and it's such a great technique, and really elevates and produces a new sound that is just unparalleled, and it's amazing. It's so unique, and when you hear it, it grabs your attention immediately, and I wish more people would do that.
Yeah, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like, because and also that technique just mainly is used for like jazz and blues specifically. Like I know when Sticky Fingers did or the band Sticky Fingers did a live performance, or like an interview on a radio talk show.
Mm.
His guitarist used the slide to achieve that certain sound, but it's just, as you said, it's not very scenic as it is now, because you know, like you could be hitting like some sick guitar licks, like in the blues genre, and then you need that extra something that's like just helps you hit that. And it's funny how to see like the how the sliders became so unused as time went by. Because I know from a good part of like the 30s to the 60s, the slider was used a lot, but then from that point on, it's hardly used anymore.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'd like to learn the history of that. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how
Yeah.
some things go out of style. You like,
Yeah.
no, go on.
No, no. No, continue.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, like, certain music genres, that aren't really as prevalent now as they were like years and years ago. Like, say jazz. You don't
Hmm.
really hear a lot of jazz today. It's more hip hop and alternative. But you know, it's interesting to try and learn that history of, you know, how did it go from say jazz to hip hop.
Yeah, um, and also as you said, like not a lot of things are used. Like from I saw, it's because I was trying to learn, or I was learning a song by Santo and Johnny. It's called Sleepwalk.
Mm.
Um, and I didn't know. I don't know what the instrument's called, but I'm pretty sure it's a steel guitar. But it's like three fretboards, and they have really wide frets. And the way one of the guitars would play, because it was two guys that consist of Johnny and Santo. It was Johnny and Santo. One of them had a Telecaster, while the other one had I think it was, I don't know if it's called a steel guitar or not, but it was like three fretboards, and his only things he would use to play it would be a slider and metallic picks on his fingers, and he
Mm-hmm.
would pick it like that and use the slider like that. That's like not used anymore.
And I thought it was interesting as well, as you said, like how to see like everything, how things are like go from being used like at its height and then no longer used. So that's what I found really interesting as well. And just some jazz stuff as well, just be brought back to life. It'd be really nice to see, and not a lot, and actually it'd be really nice to see a lot of people get interested in it again.
Yeah, no, it would be really nice to have a revitalization of all of those techniques and tools. Because right now, whenever I go to the radio, it's usually just computer generated stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
and other instruments in the background, while the main instrument will be like a guitar that someone actually plays.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it kind of sucks because there's 1,000 different ways that you can slide on a guitar, but there's not 1,000 different ways when you try and emulate it on a computer. You know,
Yeah.
if you find the one that you want, you're gonna do, and you find if you find the one that you want, it's gonna sound the same every single time. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
like a person, you're actually doing it, it's gonna sound slightly different every single time.
Yeah.
And that on its own is just so unique. It's awesome.
Yeah. Going back to
That
like,
go on.
I was gonna say like going back to authenticity. Like for me, like I really like when acoustics, like mainly acoustic guitars, used. Like there's this video that I constantly watch just for the music. It's I think it's like a clip from a Jimi Hendrix documentary, but
Mm,
it's like it's produced by Warner Bros. But he was just playing on a 12 string dreadnought. He was just playing "Hear My Train Coming," and there's just certain things like on like the licks that he would hit during that video, like something like you can't really produce like if we're computer generated nowadays, and also just hitting like the song sounds completely, it has its own different vibe acoustically than it would be like with a full electric guitar and a backing track. But it's just interesting how not a lot of people like, or I don't say like, but they don't pay attention to a lot of like the like the authenticity of music.
yeah, no. When you actually have real instruments in there and you have real people playing them, I think it just adds another level that you can't get with computer stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, to me, because I understand film more, it's like practical effects versus CGI.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the practical effects, although they might look a little bit cheesier if they're not done right. But say like a horror movie that's practical effect heavy is
Mm-hmm.
the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie with Kurt Russell. If nobody's ever seen it, I highly recommend it because it has, if you like body horror, this is right up your alley.
Mm.
But everything in there is done practically. You know, there's this one part where a head gets separated from the body, and you get to see all of it, and it's real, it's tangible, um,
Mm.
something that actually happened. And then there's also like little legs that spout out of the head, and again, it's real. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's pretty heavy on the body horror. I might recommend it to you.
Oh god.
But but the whole thing about it is it's real, and there's a real puppeteer controlling it, so that it can move around and stuff, while still like just being there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you have something that's actually there, there's a real presence, and then when you're trying to emulate that through CGI, there was an entire remake about the thing, but it was all
Mm.
CGI, totally terrible. It was terrible because you just can't get that same realness as you can with practical effects. Like as as amazing as CGI has come, and like how great Thanos looks, like he's actually there, like he has a presence. Um, to me, nothing beats the practical effects because there's just something about them that that it was there and that the actors saw it. And
Yeah.
it's really hard if it's a green screen and a little green tennis ball on a pole.
No, perfect. It's perfectly understandable. Like,
I forgot what I was gonna bring up, but there are like a lot of movies that, or a lot of things that really CGI can't.
duplicate. And as you said, also like if it's done with like practical effects, it seems more real because honestly, seeing is believing. So like if an actor sees it actually happening, more likely his reaction's gonna be genuine. His acting is gonna be genuine because he's actually seeing it and it's there.
Yeah, no. There's a reason why. What is it? Is it the guy who directed the Dark Knight trilogy?
Uh,
Nolan, Christopher Nolan. Christopher
Christopher
Nolan.
Nolan. Mhm.
You know, I'm a movie guy. I'm the movie guy. I should know this stuff. Uh, but there's a reason why Christopher Nolan does everything practical
Mhm.
because it's more real. You feel more in the moment than any CGI could ever render. You could
Yeah.
have the best CGI in the world render the same hospital explosion scene
With
in the Dark Knight Rises,
mhm.
and still wouldn't be better than the practical effects.
No,
Yeah.
practical.
Fun fact about that though,
Mhm.
the top windows on the hospital scene,
Yeah.
they were actually CGI in
Uh,
because they either broke the windows or they didn't have enough money to
make
put
windows.
the windows back. Yeah, to put the windows in. So they were already like, this is a lot of money for one scene because they actually blew up the hospital. They went through time and like they went through rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal.
So like they
They,
could get it that one.
yeah, so to get that one perfect thing, one perfect scene, and for it to just explode, and it's like it's so crazy. And what's even crazier is that Heath Ledger, who
The
played the
Joker.
Joker.
Right.
There's a deleted scene where after he walks off screen, he gets into a bus and gets driven away, and he
Mhm.
doesn't look at the explosions. He just looks straight forward. So he never got to look at that. And
Right.
it's just
Because cool guys don't look at explosions. That's why.
yeah, exactly. Cool villains, cool villain.
But yeah, cool guys don't look at explosions. Cool villains don't look at explosions. So that's why you didn't need to look back. But yeah,
Exactly.
going back to like that authenticity. But yeah, that's cute. I like how we went from like jazz to like movie talks. We should probably get into now. So
Oh
rating
yeah,
on the
oh yeah.
albums, I give AMO XO a good 7.5 out of 10, just for the good vibe with it.
I would give Ammo anime girl looking at cute boy. I would give it a good. I'd give it a good 7.
Yeah,
It's short, sweet. It does you no harm.
yeah. But and then I give Hugh and Laurie's album a good 9 out of 10. It's just
What will take you 10 out of 10?
it has like okay, so like really in that album, I really didn't like Tipitita. I didn't like Tipitita or their Red Hot. I did not like their Red Hot. For some reason that song does just not resonate with me. Even with Robert Johnson sang it, it just didn't resonate with me.
Hmm.
They're talking about Robert Jackson. There's an interesting documentary about him on Netflix. It's called The Crossroads.
Hmm.
It's called On the Crossroads,
Yeah.
and it's about like his life and like the rumors, and I'm using rumors as quotation marks, that he sold his soul to the devil to play guitar, and then that
Yeah.
comes to like the rise of like that superstition of like evil in music and like jazz and blues music, and also like the 27 Club because he was 27 when he died,
Mhm.
and things like that. So it's just a really interesting documentary to watch, just in case you're interested in like jazz artists or something like that. But for me, like I enjoyed Hugh Laurie as an actor and as a singer as well, but like Tippy Tita and their Red Hot, yeah, I really did.
You know
It's
what?
good, like it's amazing, but yeah, those two songs drew it off from a 10 out of 10.
I see your point. I see your point. I
Yeah.
would I would also give this a 9 out of 10. Also give this a 9.
I would love to hear him sing La Vie en Rose. That
Oh, that's a classic.
yeah, La Vie en you cannot go wrong with La Vie en Rose.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the original version. And you can't go wrong with the Louis Armstrong.
Strong version. I like the French version. Not gonna lie.
I like the original versions better than I like Louis Armstrong.
Mm.
Maybe I'm just used to it
Mhm.
because I heard it first. But
You heard the
I
French version first?
yeah, I heard the French version first.
No, the French version is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, all by Edith Piaf. No,
Yeah.
Piaf.
I was
Piaf.
about to say Evie. No, no,
No, she has
Edith.
she has an accent on the. So it could be she's French. I don't speak French, so I won't know pronunciation. But yeah,
Hold on, I took French.
let them talk Hugh Laurie for me. 9 out of 10. How about for you,
It's
Jacob?
it's Edith Piaf.
Ooh. Edith
Et
Piaf.
Edith. C'est
Edith.
accent grave. C'est c'est accent grave.
Honestly, it just sounds like you're implementing the grapefruit technique. It doesn't sound like you're speaking French.
Oh, dude, I'm speaking French. I'm telling you, in my French class, I spoke the most. I spoke the best French.
Dude, honestly, as I said again, it just sounds like you're implementing the grapefruit technique. Just
No, dude, I'm telling you, French is literally.
it's just the grapefruit technique when speaking.
It's not. I'm telling you, it's Edith Piaf.
Edith Piaf.
Edith Piaf.
Edith Piaf.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, let's get into the movies. We got this was a special fan recommendation, or not a fan recommendation, but podcast listener recommendation. Shout out to the boy Emmanuel. Emmanuel Fonseca. He gave us this recommendation of Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's right.
Interesting.
I have seen this movie. I think over 6 times. I think 6 to 8 times. I've seen this movie. So,
I remember seeing it, but it was some time ago that I saw it, and then I rewatched it again. I didn't know it's based on a book. To be honest
oh
with
yeah,
you.
no, it's based on an entire comic book series, and when the movie released, it was also right around the time the last.
Mm.
And it's interesting because the movie was being made while the comics were being released,
Hmm.
and Edgar Wright and comic book publisher Edgar Wright being the director um, who directed Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Hmm.
They worked with each other and they started influencing each other on how each story was going to go, uh, because they were working so closely uh,
Uh,
through the story, and it's kind of amazing. And also, before we get into this, spoiler warning for everyone, just in case. Spoiler warning for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. If you haven't seen it, you're a chump. On Netflix,
honestly,
go check it out. Only
not gonna
like
lie.
an hour 40, I believe.
Yeah, almost 2 hours, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. It's good shit though. I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Okay, that is where I'm going to disagree with
That
you because
dude, were you disappointed?
not that I was disappointed. It's just that there was a lot going on that I could not process.
Yeah,
So
it's a very like eye candy movie. That's you would say. There's a lot of it's very heavily influenced on the video game aspect of it,
yeah,
and it's so at times it can be really flashy, which I agree with you. But I like it as part of the style that Edgar Wright was going for,
mm,
and I love it for that.
okay, yeah. Because I was watching this movie and as it went on, I was just like, I'm like Michael Cera really a ladies man? Like don't get me wrong, he's a good actor and a good singer, but like a ladies man in this movie, like I don't see that.
Well, I mean, the point is, I don't think he is really a ladies' man. That's why he keeps on failing with his relationship.
Mm. No, that's the thing though. Like, okay, so he failed the relationship with his first girl. I forgot her name. Then she
Knives.
goes, no, not Knives. For the first band he was in, the blonde chick.
Oh yeah, the chick. I forgot her name. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
look
I
it up.
forgot her name too.
Uh, but go on.
Um, yeah, like, because he had her, and then so he had her. He broke up, and he came out of the slump. He was with Knives,
Yeah,
which is, by the way, weird.
Knives is weird.
Very weird. No, just weird the relationship he had with Knives. Like, she was 17, he was 22.
Oh,
Like,
oh yeah, no, they all comment on that.
like that's odd. And then he's balancing Ramona and Knives, and then I'm just uh, like, yeah, like it just like the point of him trying to juggle both of them really wasn't a selling point for me. It really like didn't come through me. You're like, oh, like I can see how he got in this situation, but I couldn't see it.
You couldn't see why it was necessary.
No, no, why it was necessary? Like how? Like why would they make a character like or like a Michael Cera's character a ladies' man? Or like I couldn't see Michael. I couldn't take Michael Cera so seriously as a ladies' man. Or as like trying to juggle a woman because he's just like so awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really do like Michael Cera in this movie because I think they make fun of him as a ladies' guy, but
Yeah.
like subtly, because he's trying to balance Ramona and Knives, which Ramona's his main romantic interest for anybody
Hmm.
who doesn't know. She's the one that causes the whole seven X's uh, because video game logic in movies, and
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim really wants her. But Ramona Flowers, she so balancing. He's trying to balance both of his girls, but at the same time, well, he can't keep them apart.
Hmm.
Uh, and one is just blindly following him because she loves him and his band, and the other one he has to constantly strain and pull to keep in his life, and fighting these seven X's as well because he just wants her. I don't really see him as a ladies man, and they always make fun of by the way, the girl we were talking about, his first relationship, her name's Kim.
Hmm.
She's the drummer for the band. I think it's, they also poke fun of him there because they ended the relationship just terribly, with
Yeah.
him breaking up with her, for seemingly just seeming. I forget what the situation is, but it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
Um, and sorry,
No,
uh,
you're good.
and they what is it? And it's just always like sort of in the background as like a little as a big mistake that he made. And every time
Hmm.
he tries to point out something, it's just Kim is in the back saying "I hate you," you know.
Yeah.
So I don't really see him as a ladies' man there. I just see him as like a like a loser. I guess you yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of is a loser. He's a 22-year-old with no job, playing in a garage band. So
Yeah, no, like that's the whole point with Scott Pilgrim is just he's a loser. Like the whole movie is about him being a loser.
yeah, honestly, like I like the I did like the video game aspects. It had like a very arcadey sort of feel, and they really tapped into that with like sort of the modernist. Like every time he defeated an opponent they'd turn into coins, or like you'd see him like level up. So
Oh,
I thought like that was a really cool aspect of the movie.
yeah, no, I'd have to say this is, if anything, one of the best video game movies. Because it's not directly tied to a video game.
Laura Croft, hello, Angelina Jolie, Tomb Raider. How could you?
Listen, that's a campy movie. How dare you?
What do you mean that's a crappy movie?
No,
They
I said
got
it's a campy movie.
a campy movie.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
a campy movie which is like super cheesy.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll give them props. They got it to accurate as the game. Like if you see Lara Croft, the I forgot what I think. Well, I forgot what I think. What game did Tomb Raider come out in? Where she's all pixelated and like her breasts are just like
Oh,
rocks.
the first Tomb Raider.
Yeah, the first Tomb Raider, like they got that spot on, like with Angelina Jolie, because like her figure, like
Oh,
it's just Opa, like right there.
oh yeah, no, totally. Where like in the cutscenes they're like giant boulders,
Yeah,
and in the game they're like triangles.
but yeah,
It's funny. No, no, no. I love Angelina Jolie as Laura Croft.
yeah.
I think she's perfect, and they never should have recasted for another Laura Croft. But I don't know. I'll still assert that Scott Pilgrim to me is one of the best, if not the best, video game movies, because it's not directly a part of any video game. So it's not really tied down by video game aspects for
Hmm.
people who really like the particular video game.
Hmm.
Um, but it has those video game aspects to it, that's just edited in. I mean, Scott at one point goes to take a piss,
Hmm.
because he wants to get away from all of the shouting and loudness of everybody in the next room, and you literally have a pee bar that goes right next to him, and
Yeah.
it lowers it until zero, and it's like, oh cool. And then every time he has an opponent, it's like what is it, it's like a Mortal Kombat Tekken
Yeah.
sort of style, where they
Street
just sort
Fighter.
of jump in. So yeah, like Street Fighter. That's what I was saying. That's what I was gonna say. Thank you.
Hmm.
But it's kind of like Street Fighter style, where they're just they just come out of nowhere, and they're big. They're bigger than life characters that
Yeah.
act like this. I mean, uh, the first X that Scott Pilgrim has to beat, Matthew something.
The pirate.
You know, yeah, basically the pirate. He makes a whole dance number with a bunch of like devil chicks that come out of him. It embraces the goofiness of arcade games in such a beautiful, honest, and funny way, and it incorporates it into every part of Scott's life in creative ways, like the P bar.
Hmm.
And also, there's one where he's battling Captain America.
Yeah,
Uh,
that I was
Chris
gonna say like Chris Evans, like in that movie, not his greatest work.
yeah. His name is Lucas Lee, but when he's
Hmm.
skateboarding down onto the when he's skateboarding down to show Michael Cera or Scott Pilgrim that he can grind the entire railing. You have the video game thing where it's like just focusing in on the skateboard, and it's counting the miles per hour that
Hmm.
he's going for, and it's really creative. And then even before that, when they have uh, Lucas or Chris Evans
Hmm.
get Michael Cera and just throw him into a castle, right, out of nowhere, and it's like 50 feet, or like a what is it, like 100 feet away or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's totally reminds me of Street Fighter. It's so funny, and they embrace it every single second, and it's amazing. It's well incorporated into the film, and that's why I love it, and that's why I always say it's either the best or one of the best video game movies of all time.
Mm. No, like for me, like there were some aspects I did enjoy of it, but like for it being like, at least for me being like the greatest movie of all time, not necessarily, but um, like as you said, like the P bar aspects, I thought that was really funny. What I also liked was um the way the sound effects, the way they made the sounds present. Like when she's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you saw like the numbers come up, and then just all the noise and like the emphasis on like the noise, or like the
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that was, I really like enjoyed it about that as well. I really enjoyed Scott's roommate a lot more. And
Oh,
so his roommate was
Wallace.
just like the comedic relief. I
Oh
say the
yeah,
comedic relief. Wallace.
Wallace is he has to be. like my favorite character.
Yeah.
He's just so funny.
Yeah. But honestly, I really, and then I think I told you like when I was watching the movie, this is basically just simp versus the world. Because if you think
Yeah,
about it in modern terms, it's a simp trying to get the attention of an e-girl. So he fights the entire world for it. Like,
you know what? I never thought of it as a.
no, honestly, that's like the first thing that came to my mind. It was just like, oh, it's a simp e-girl. So I was just like, oh, all right. So I think, hey, that's why my judgment was a little clouded because when I saw like the entire like basis of it, I'm like, oh, like he's just a simp, more or less.
Scott Pilgrim is straight up simp.
Yep, confirmed.
No,
Uh,
I never thought about it like that. I
and then,
watched this pre-simp era.
oh, that's true. That's true. Um, what I really enjoyed was as you said, when they were poking fun of like the video game genre, when they gave that alternate ending when
Mm.
Scott revived, and instead of like the love sword, it was the self-respect sword, and it had a different outcome. So that's what I really enjoyed about it too. And the parallels that the ending had with like the ninja game you would play with knives, I thought that was cool too.
Yeah, no, that's I love that aspect too, where they have like a quick montage. I really
Hmm.
really big sped up montage when Scott dies, gets his he gets revived.
Yeah,
Uh, he goes through all of his life choices, and he gets basically the second shot. And when he gets back to the final boss, he gets a sword of self respect. I, I say it just comments on the whole thing. It's like love isn't like your answer. It's just you have to have self respect for yourself.
yeah,
That's the only thing that's gonna save anybody.
yeah. That's what I really enjoyed, and then also as far as character wise, that's like the peak of his development. He's just like, oh, like I've been given another chance, so like I have to do things right instead of like going back to the same thing. Like if they're like choose the alternate ending, but when he revives, he still chooses love over self respect. That would show like no development at all. So I really enjoyed like that development of Scott as he grows. He sees what he's doing wrong and he fixes it, and get and stays right by everybody, which is the good part. He leaves everybody off with a good note. He's good with the drummer chick. He's good with knives. He's good with Neil. He's good with the band, and he's good with Ramona. And that eventually leads to like them getting together.
Yeah, and I actually have a funny little fact, fun fact about the ending, which was originally Scott was gonna end up with knives at the very end,
Mm-hmm.
and when they screen tested that idea, a lot of people got mad because they didn't want knives to end up with Scott. They wanted Ramona.
Yeah,
I've always said it every single time after the film that Knives is just too good for Knives is
for
too
Scott.
good for Scott. Yeah,
Yeah, honestly, like knives, she needs to get somebody her age, uh, 4 years older.
somebody who's not so,
Yeah,
or somebody who is still in high school. I should say.
Yeah, that because honestly, I just found that kind of weird when you do.
she's 17. Like, do your boundaries know no limits? You probably didn't.
No,
So
because he's a loser.
he's a
he's,
simp. He's a
he's
simp.
just yeah. I mean, I guess he's a simp. I'll always call him just a loser because he starts out a loser throughout the entire film. You see him dealing with everything a loser. And then finally at the end, he's like, "Oh yeah, I have some respect for myself. I got, I got, love isn't gonna solve all my problems. Let me just stop being a loser."
Yeah, basically. And I also liked when he faced off Nega Scott.
Oh yeah, nigga Scott.
Kind of just remind me of Very Odd Parents, where like the Chin's arch nemesis is NEG Chin. It's like negative Chin, like negative Chin.
Yeah.
I thought was really funny. I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's like classic video game trope. Yeah.
No, no. When I saw it, just my mind went directly to the to the Very Odd Parents, where it's the doctor. She's like, "It's the nigga chin." I'm just, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, no. Wait, that's also a thing. I didn't I forgot that was his arch nemesis in Fairly Odd Parents, but
yeah.
I know that's also that they do in video games.
Mhm.
Like I think the most recent one would be like the newest Super Smash Brothers,
Yeah.
where they like Samus and they have Dark Samus, which is like
Dark Samus.
yeah, it's like an evil version of Samus, and so that's like the whole thing with Scott Pilgrim.
Mhm.
I really did love their choice of just not having them fight, just have coffee,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah, we're going for brunch next week.
yeah, like it's just there was a lot of fighting in the movie already. It was getting really
Mhm.
hectic. I'm glad they decided to say, you know what, let's just chill.
And it just really shows the way like he would better he would it just shows like how he reached a point of self-respect. Like he didn't need to fight anymore. He's just like, let's just talk things out. And basically he's him, so of course they're gonna talk it out.
Yeah, no, and also I'd like to comment on the music in this because it's very prominent because
Very trash.
Scott himself is in a band, and it takes a lot of precedence. But yeah, no, they always say that Scott's band sucks, that they're trash. I never found their music unenjoyable.
Okay, there's like one or two songs that I really enjoyed, but
Mhm.
like other than that, like it was
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, a lot of it wasn't uh, very. It was purposefully not very good, but I don't know. I still groove. I still groove to the opening theme or the opening song that they have.
no, yeah, the opening theme was dope.
Yeah, it's
And
like super, and then the title credits for it too are just amazing.
mhm. I really enjoyed the scene when they're I think their first knockout round when he's trying to keep Knives from talking to Ramona by playing really loud. That like
Yeah,
that song basically I really enjoyed. It was cool.
yeah, no, I remember that Michael, yeah, no, Scott Pilgrim's like, hey, when you play really loud, and there's a point when the other band is playing that they can't hear each other, so they're yelling at each other, and you literally just have subtitles or giant big subtitles appear on the screen, which I think was hilarious. That's one thing that Edgar Wright does masterfully as a director, where his visual comedy is always on point.
Yeah.
Uh, there's one scene with the bands that I wanted to mention where it was when Matthew Patel, the pirate, when he came in as the first X. Right beforehand, there was this other band that was performing, and they had this they had this song that they were gonna perform, and they did, and it lasted like 2 3 seconds. It's like I'm so sad.
Like, thank you.
Uh, yeah, it's like, thank you. And then Wallace in the background just saying, "It's not a race, guy." it, it's just it's so funny. You can't help but laugh.
Yeah,
Uh,
you really can.
yeah, so there's a lot of visual comedy. And there's just a lot of comedy in general that I always found super funny. That's why we watched it a bunch of times. It used to be my favorite movie. Then I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly, and realized this is it. But just the comedy in this alone. If you're a really big fan of comedy, I would recommend it because it has a bunch to offer everyone. The whole reason why Matthew Patel came in, or why Scott Pilgrim didn't know that Matthew Patel was coming in as the X was just because he didn't want to read a long email. It's it's little stuff like that.
I thought that was really funny too. And talking about that, Matthew Patel, the first X, reminds me of two people: Prince and the creator of Castlevania, the anime on Netflix. If you look at the creator, let's see if I can share my screen real quick. Share, share.
Share the screen.
Share computer sound too.
You're sharing your screen, right, bro?
Do you see it?
Yeah,
You see it? Okay, so
yeah.
what we're gonna see right now. Director. No, that's scholarships now.
Let's deal your scholarship.
Director. I cannot spell director. Castlevania. This dude, he reminds him. He reminds me of Matthew Patel.
Yeah, no, he does.
Wait, hold up, here's a better one. There we go.
Oh my
This
God.
dude's weird. But yeah.
I heard he also wanted to make a Berserk anime.
Yeah, hopefully he does it justice, not like 2016 when with all the CGI.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh wait, that doesn't exist.
It's, you're talking about something that doesn't exist?
Yeah, let's try. Like, I still want to watch the 1990s one.
Oh, I watched it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know it's amazing, dude. Dude,
Does not disappoint.
I feel bad for everybody that during that time that made it, because all the scenes they had to do by hand and the detail. My goodness, that's tremendous.
Oh, yeah, no, but a lot of it is still images though.
Yeah,
but still beautifully handcrafted.
I feel like no Berserker anime can do the manga justice, just because the manga has such intense and really well drawn scenes.
No, I'm telling you, the 1990s version, it does it justice.
It does it justice.
It does it justice.
Especially the Griffith scene.
Especially
Jesus.
during the eclipse. The justice is done, and it's done beautifully. Way better than the movies did the eclipse. I watched the movies, and I remember just thinking the whole time when watching the eclipse, I thought, man, the 1990s one was better, so much better.
No, same thing when I watch. There's a new, well, it's not new, but Netflix readapted a 1970s anime called Saint Seiya: The Knights of the Zodiac, and the CGI, the Netflix one, the 2019 one, was just so awful. They CGI'd everything. So I was just like it won't do the actual thing justice, because I really enjoyed the 1970s ones, because I grew up watching that. So did my dad, but like there's just some things that like you cannot remaster. Like when I heard like they were gonna remaster Saint Seiya, I thought like, oh, it's just gonna be like still anime, like hand drawn, but it's gonna be like better definition, because in the 1970s one, like they have more rounded face, while like anime nowadays men have more chiseled features and everything like that. So I thought it was gonna be like that, but no, they just decided CGI, change one of the guys into a girl, and bam, I'm like, no, you cannot do that.
No, you're wrong.
No, yeah, because hold up, let me share my screen again. Share. Okay. Let's see if you see. Exit full screen, please. Let's say. Let's say. Zodiac on the show. Okay, so basically in the original one, there's a guy. His name's Shun, and he has the bronze cloth of the Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
And in the original one, he's a dude, but in the Netflix one, he's a girl. So you can. I was really outraged by that. I don't know why.
That's that's
It,
that's
I
gay.
mean, the title right here says Netflix angers fans by changing queer man's gender in scenes.
Hey man, I originally what's the purpose of making him a girl?
I have no idea, honestly. I feel like because back in the 1970s, um, it was like feminine men weren't really in in style, and Sean, he was really feminine. Like he had he had a motherly traits. Like he was like kind, he was tender, he cared for everybody, even though like they would hurt him and things like that. So I feel like that's why Netflix decided to change it, and
Mm,
they bought the copyrights off of Toei Animation either way, so they could do whatever they want with it.
mm.
And so yeah, so like he had all these traits, so I think that's why they decided to change him into a girl. But I liked him better as a dude just because it was an all dudes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's
all
mainly like a boy. It's basically just like a boyish anime. It's just like all dudes, you know, fighting the bad guys and things like that.
yeah. Like, what's the problem with having an all dudes anime though?
Yeah, like I really didn't see any problem with it. I mean,
Yeah.
other than like there were female characters, there are female knights too.
Mm,
So like I didn't think that was I didn't think it was that bad, especially back then because you really didn't see a lot of like women in uh let's say like fight like you didn't see women fighting. They would be mainly like you know carrying or like doing something else. But like in at least in the original one, there's two females. One of them trains the main character Seiya. Her name's Marin, and then
mm.
Marin's arch rival, I suppose. I think it's Shauna. Yeah, like they're like really aggressive, like really good fighting women that train the boys that go there to be knights or the girls there to be knights. So I really liked it because I really didn't see why they need to change Shun into a girl just because there's already enough like strong females in that show. But
Mm.
like how we got completely off topic from like Scott to like Netflix
Yeah.
adaptations.
Dude, Netflix adaptation is something else.
No, honestly, like they have the they have like the 10 out of 10 in original content, but in adaptations they just mm-hmm, it's a no go
Yeah.
for some.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse
They're
me.
they're not that good with those adaptations.
Mm-hmm. And then they're making a Cowboy Bebop adaptation. They're
They
making a One
are?
Piece adaptation. Yeah.
They're making a Cowboy Bebop adaptation? How do you do that?
I don't know if they were gonna do it show by show, but I was expecting them to do the original Cowboy Bebop movie,
Mm.
where it took place between like the final episode, like 22 and 23. That's where the Cowboy Bebop movie took place in, and that's what I
Mm.
expected. Like they would remake that movie with like a live action cast, but apparently it's gonna be the show, from what
With
I've
a
heard.
live action cast?
Yes, with a live action cast, which I I didn't like the guy who they chose to be. I forgot his name. Hold on, let me look it
To be Spike? Or Jet?
up. No, Spike.
To be
Cowboy
Spike?
Bebop. Hold on.
Let me
Live
look this
action.
up too. Hold on.
They chose no.
Oh boy.
They chose John Cho for um uh they chose John Cho
Oh
for Spike Lee.
yeah, no, I see him. That's not Spike, bro.
No. And then they
Spike
chose Mustafa
clearly
Shakir.
they chose who?
I wonder who they chose. They chose Mustafa Shakir. I don't know for who. They won't say who. Because like I wouldn't be mad if they chose they chose a black guy to be Jet because Jet gives off a black guy vibe. Not gonna lie.
You know what? Yeah, no. If Jet's black, that's totally cool. I
That's
don't.
totally fine. Like I could look past that.
Yeah, it's like I don't necessarily care, but I don't know, man. This new actor that they had playing for
John
Spike,
Cho. Mhm.
John Cho. I don't. Man, that's not my Spike. That's like not my Spike.
No, the reason I don't see him fitting the role specifically was because he came out in those movies for like John Cho. I forgot what movies he came out in those movies with that one Indian dude. I forgot his name.
I
Movies.
don't talking about like from Parks and Rec. Yeah,
No, like Harold and Kumar. Maybe
oh,
that because he came out in Harold and Kumar movies. That's why I'm just like, can he really pay Spike Lee? I'm like, no. Like I can't take him seriously just because he came out in those movies.
yeah. No, I feel like they could have gotten that to play him.
But thinking about it, who could have they gone? Who could they have gotten to play Spike Lee other than John
Who
Cho?
who could have gotten to play Spike Lee? Has to be a new actor,
Mhm.
you know, because he's pretty young.
Mhm.
But Steve Bloom's voice for him, this is like hot. You gotta match that voice. You gotta have
You
an
got
actor who has a
really
deeper,
got.
but
You
it's
know,
like kind of skinny.
you know who I could see
Who
playing
could you?
Spike Lee? The dude that played Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I could totally see him
Mhm.
as like
Like, cause unless John Cho gets the voice down, unless he's personally training with Steve Bloom on nailing his voice, I do not see him as as playing Spike Lee.
yeah. No, I wouldn't see him playing Spike Lee ever. It doesn't fit. His facial features don't fit to me.
I mean, yeah, but I could see John Cho in Spike Lee's aesthetic. I could see John Cho wearing that baggy suit that Spike wears. That's the thing. So like, unless he nails the voice down, because he somewhat resembles Spike Lee. Like I could see it. Like if John Cho grew his hair out
Mm,
and he wore the same clothes as Spike Lee, he could pull it off. But the thing is, the key quintessential thing is the voice. Because if you don't match the voice, it's not gonna. It's really not gonna matter because it's such an iconic part of Cowboy Bebop. Just Steve Bloom's voice.
yeah, I don't know. I'll always prefer the anime. It's just
Yes,
it's cool. Like you can't beat those character designs.
you really can't. Honestly, it's just. But yeah, I want to see how it goes down.
Yeah. Looks like
But
looks like we got an anime section in here now.
we went from that Scott Pilgrim to Netflix adaptations to anime again.
Dude.
I still need to finish Samurai Champloo.
Oh yeah, that's right too. We need to make that special episode.
Yeah, I know. I know. I
I'm
need to
telling
finish it.
you, man.
No, the thing
Samurai
it. Yeah.
Champloo.
No, the thing is, for some reason, like I've been so discouraged to finish anime. Like I started Samurai Champloo, I didn't finish it. I haven't gone back to it, and then I started Inuyasha. I started it, and I haven't gone back to it. Like I feel like no, I feel like I lost interest in Inuyasha just for the sole purpose because the main point of the anime is that um, they're collecting parts of like a stone because they fragmented like hundreds of thousands of small pieces, so they're just collecting like parts. And every episode is sort of the same. Like somebody's trying to go after the stones they've collected, but
Mm,
while trying to acquire other parts of the stone as well. And it's just like back and forth. And like the main character likes the supporting character and things like that. They have mixed feelings, so it's kind of like a romance isekai, like otherworldly thing.
yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that's why I lost interest in it. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's a good movie. Like, not a good movie. It's a good show. It's iconic. Like the scene. I forgot what. I haven't seen it all, but I know there's a scene where like uh the main character Kagome he shouts out like his name like Inuyasha, and then he responds Kagome. like like I feel like that's what it's most iconic for. But yeah, I need to get back to watching Samurai Champloo so I can start Space Dandy as well.
Dude, if you can find Space Dandy English version,
They have it on Hulu. They should have it on Hulu.
no, they only have the sub.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the sub.
The last time I checked, nah, bro, nah, you gotta check it in the dub. It's way better.
Oh, I have a website to watch anime. I can check.
You have a website to anime? Is it pirated?
No, it's actually, believe it or not, I saw it. I saw it on Insta. It was like it's part of a TikTok, and it's like completely legit. Like depending the season, like they'll drop off. They'll drop every episode. Like they'll drop every episode every weekend. Like for me, I was watching a show called Kaguya-sama Love Is War, and every Saturday they post the new episode of the show. So let me space thing.
Yeah, that's dope though.
Yeah, they have
Like,
Space Dandy. They have the second season too.
listen, season 2 is great. Also, season 2 has a lot of the emotional episodes. As one
Mm-hmm.
of the most, it has the most emotional episode in Space Dandy.
Mm. Oh, I'm listening to it real quick. And you hear some dialogue.
I see.
No, it's in Japanese as well. That's it.
That's nah. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
No, I have a couple sites, but it's just like one of the sites really is. It's like in beta version, so I really can't do a lot.
Mhm.
So I kind of have to like see what I can do. Let me see. Space Dandy. Popped up. Now will it play for me though?
I'm, I'm still like stuck on trying to new new actor to play.
You're still trying to find new anime?
No, I'm trying to find a new actor to play Spike Lee. I'm looking for the role, Betty.
You're personally gonna write a heavily lettered word and be like, "Dear Netflix, I have some disagreements with the casting of the soon-to-be Cowboy Bebop Netflix adaptation. Please consider the list below of actors you could replace John Cho as Spike Lee." It's like 3 pages long.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hoping you could choose a more suitable actor out of this list.
I'll type in here and it's like P.S. No hard feelings to John Cho. He's a great actor on his own. But
Dude, come on, Harold and Kumar. How you not gonna like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle? Come on.
yeah, I mean, how you like that? But I'll just say, but bitch ass can't play Spike Lee, and then just leave it like that.
You know what I didn't know? Talking about Spike Lee's character, I didn't know Stephen Bloom did a sub. He dubbed in no, he subbed in Naruto, or he
He,
dubbed in Naruto. He was a voice
he
actor in Naruto.
well, that's dope.
Yeah,
He
I didn't
was
know that.
he was a voice actor in one of the Lego movies, not like the Lego
Yeah.
movie, but
Uh-huh.
in the and like some of the promotional old animated Lego stuff.
Mm.
He voice acted, and I was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah,
My-
honestly, like, I would literally train intensively to have Steve Bloom's voice.
Should we get back to Scott Pilgrim?
We probably should. We're out here obsessing over Steve Bloom's voice. For those of you who haven't heard Steve Bloom's voice, either watch Cowboy Bebop or watch the Real Folk Blues special edition music video that's on YouTube that they made for the anniversary of Cowboy Bebop.
He's at the very end.
Yeah, just bang.
just he got that voice to make you cream,
dude.
make you melt down. Your
No,
bones, skin, your flesh, your muscles, your organs, everything just melt.
no. Talking about that, I talk. Going back to like Cowboy Bebop and like things that we missed or I missed to talk about was I think it was a waltz for Zizi when he finally kills the guy and keeps and lets him age well and he dies when he gets the harmonica and he just like throws it up and he waits for it like so chill. He's just like bang. Like oh, that bang, just something inside that bang just makes you like oh,
Yeah,
smooth.
it's perfect. It's perfect. But back to Pilgrim.
Yes, back to Pilgrim. But yeah,
back
honestly,
back to Pilgrim.
for some reason, like for me, the movie wasn't. I don't know. For some reason, it just didn't vibe with me. It just didn't stick with me for some reason. Like, don't get me
Was
wrong, it was a good movie, but like it was. I feel like the majority of the reasons being he was dating a 17-year-old. He's a simp. He was going after Negro. He had no self-respect whatsoever until like the last 10 minutes of the movie,
mm,
and it was just weird. Like I thought I was watching like a live adaptation of like some sort of like romantic comedy anime for some reason. Like it was just weird.
mm. I don't know. I really like the weirdness. It's to me it's pretty awesome the
Yeah,
way.
it's original, but like for me, it just was like, eh. Like for me, there was like only a certain. For me, I could stick with the weirdness only to a certain extent.
Oh, okay. So you couldn't follow it all the way through.
Yeah, I couldn't follow it all the way through.
I get that. I know it's not a movie for everyone. My brother and I disagree whether this is a great movie or this is a terrible movie because he doesn't like it either. He can't vibe with all the weirdness and Scott Pilgrim just being a total loser or a simp.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say a total Chad. I'm like, wait a minute.
No. If you wanted to know an example of like an opposite of a Chad, you just pull up Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. You just pull up Michael Cera and what's the I forgot his name. Another actor that's kind of like Michael Cera. He's skinny and awkward. He came out in Blaze of Glory. I forgot his name. Oh. No, he was Napoleon Dynamite, the guy that played Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. He's a pretty big loser too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my brother also agrees or says that film is total trash. So, I don't know. But you know what I was thinking though? Just to get back to the anime just a little bit. If Michael Cera had like a more chiseled face and a deeper voice, perfect Spike Lee.
Perfect spec.
Well, not a perfect, but pretty good one.
Good. Debatable Spike Lee.
He would have I think the lankiness for Spike Lee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's his name, John Heder, the other awkward guy.
Yeah, but to me, I don't know. I love this movie. It's really it has a great personality and charm to it, which I love. I mean, the vegan police come in.
The
like,
V that was like the funniest part of it was the vegan police.
Yeah, dude, it was just so funny when Todd came out and he was like, "I have gained superpowers because I'm fucking vegan." and Scott just tricks him to drink regular milk
half
instead of soy milk.
I'm like, bro, come on.
And the vegan police just pop in for a second, like,
They have their beads and like their little ray finger guns like Yu Yu Hakusho, just like. Which
like,
reminds me, I should probably recommend Yu Yu Hakusho to you too. I need to watch it first. I heard it's good. After
Watch your
watching it, Yu Yu Hakusho.
okay,
Yeah, I need to watch it first.
yeah,
But anyway, back to Scott Pilgrim.
yeah. I don't know. I love how they're able to introduce all of that. It's like a total random thing, like vegan police,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, and just have it make sense. You know, just like, oh, it's there. Because
Just imagine like the screenwriting, like Todd and it's just like in Pilgrim's and the last thoughts when Pilgrim was done for out of nowhere the vegan police pop up. You know, just like where does that idea like pop in? Just like we should add a vegan police. He's and Edward Wright. He's just like, yes, we should probably do that. Let's add the vegan police in.
the vegan police, they're imperative.
We have no movie without the vegan police.
Exactly, exactly. I do have to say though, with all the fights in the movie, I think the fight with the twins, the twin X's,
Mm-hmm.
that one's the worst for me.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just really short.
The power of music. No, but
Yeah,
if you think about it, the fights get less and less physical and more psychological if you take a look at it. Because like the first fight with Matthew Patel, like those full on punches. But
yeah,
then the second fight with Lucas Lee, like there were some punches, but he ended up outsmarting him rather than actually like beating him physically. And same thing with the rest, except for the girl X and the final X.
yeah. No, Roxy. That whole thing was really funny because Ramona had to take control
Yeah.
and, and make Scott punch her.
Yeah,
Which, which
she had to pull out. I forgot what video game it was, where like the main character has like a large hammer.
uh, I don't know. I was just thinking of like Mario for that. The original.
Mario or
Yeah, and the
Dick Dug
original.
or Dick Dug. I think Dick Dug had a hammer in it too.
Yeah. I was just thinking of Mario though when he gets that big hammer at
That's what I was thinking about it too. Cause she
yeah,
just pulled it like out of her like one of her like little tiny um, penny purse,
purse.
and she's just like zoom. She's like,
It's
come
like
on, let's fight.
it's hammer time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really funny. It has a lot of personality to it, and you're never gonna see another movie like this. Really.
Honestly, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that point. Like
It's
thinking about it, there's no other movie that's kind of like that's like Scott Pilgrim. I feel like that's what makes it its impact quite huge.
yeah. It also does have a deep message though, because I know we're talking about all the surface level things, but there is a deeper message underneath it, which is really just relationships. You know, when Ramona has her like the chip in her neck to go back to Gideon at the very end of the movie, the final X. You know,
Yeah,
it represents just the control past relationships have on people,
yeah.
uh, and it's really crazy because when you think about it, it's like wow, you know, because there are times where like your past relationship does sort of
Influence
control
what you
you for a
do.
little bit.
Yeah, or it
Yeah,
influences you on like what you do in the current relationship, or makes you look at the things you don't want when you're looking for another relationship. So yeah, I feel like that was like the deeper meaning of it all. Just like um, putting it past you too, because at some point that's what Ramona said. She's just like, I just wanted to move someplace where like to start anew. You know, put the past behind me, but for some reason the past kept catching up onto me. So it's just making that effort to move on from the past.
yeah, and that's the whole thing, and it even shows with Scott because he can't leave his past relationship with Envy, um, because they ended off so badly that you know he stoops so low as to take knives, uh, you know, just because, uh, and just he also shows the control and the baggage that you hold with relationships like that just end poorly, and you carry that and you can carry that onto the next relationship that you have, and he does that with Ramona in one of his scenes, you know, or it also like affects him because he doesn't like his hair getting cut because of envy.
Mhm.
He doesn't like any of that. You know, and then the relationship stuff is really, I think it's really good. It's really powerful. Underneath, it's kind of like I'm just gonna use it as like a poor man's eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
Hmm.
But in no way is that saying it's bad. It's not as deep because it's not the
It's not
main
as
book.
deep. Yeah, honestly, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind was just,
It,
might I
it,
say, at least for personally me, 10 times better than, yeah, at conveying the message than Scott Pilgrim was.
yeah, no, I mean if you're going into Scott Pilgrim trying to or thinking that it's gonna be really big on relationships and how it affects you, I mean that's just not the case. You might as well you gotta watch Eternal Sunshine for that. You know,
Yeah.
you really wanna cry over past relationships. We reviewed that on the channel if you guys wanna find that episode.
Of
Just as a
course.
little plug.
Like the
Uh,
first episode ever.
oh yeah, no, it was the first episode. I believe it's in part two. So
Yeah.
if you go to episode one, part two, you'll see Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and our take on it. Um, you know,
Amazing movie.
amazing movie, and I would totally agree with you. It's 10 times better than Scott Pilgrim versus the World, uh, and it's also like super original in its own right as
Hmm.
well. But you know, so I think Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a nice like sort of lighter touch on it
Yeah.
that isn't as heavy, not heavy handed, but as deep as Charlie Kaufman's writing in Eternal
Hmm.
Sunshine,
Yeah.
because that one's a heartbreaker.
Dude, it is.
I've almost cried over that one
No,
because
but like you said, like
um,
I agree with you because you can look like throughout like all the movies. You say you've seen all the movies, but like Scott Pilgrim versus the World's always one that's gonna stand out, and there's really no comparing it because it's in its own genre, it's in its own category. You really don't see anything like it, and when people do try to do it, it doesn't go off. It doesn't look as good as Scott Pilgrim.
totally, I 100% agree with you there. You said it perfectly.
Yeah,
It's really its own genre.
it's
Is
his
it?
own thing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, honestly, for me, my rating on the movie, a good 6 out of 10.
damn, that's low. I think that's the lowest you've ever rated a movie.
Possibly, yeah. Just
I
because
in the go on.
no, it's just because of the weirdness. I'm like, oh no, something about the movie just didn't click with me.
For me, I'd give it a good 9 out of 10. It's just really original. I really enjoy it. I think it's a really fun movie that
Hmm.
you could put on and watch if you're not bothered by all the weirdness, you know.
Yeah.
Because I like it. I love it. And it used to be my favorite movie, so I'm kind of biased.
No, I mean, we all have our biases. Like honestly, you could ask me. I still consider Neon Genesis Evangelion the best anime ever made. But uh, yeah, like it's in its own thing. Like there's really no comparing it to anything else. So as you said, like you have your own biases just because it really connects with you. Same thing with Neon Genesis Evangelion for me. I already like top show and movie, especially End of Evangelion, just because it's just something about that movie that gives me like that personal sense, just connects with me or like interests me for some reason. So like I get like I feel like all critics do have their biases, even though they say they don't, or like when they review things, they do have their biases, even though we don't try to, but still.
Yeah, because everybody likes their own stuff. Like one of the great things I love about Scott Pilgrim versus World is that you could rewatch it and you could always find new stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because in the beginning, I didn't notice how many X's there were, just to sort of hammer in the point that this is about your ex, or he's gonna fight some X's. This is all about your exes. But if you look through the movie again, you'll be able to just catch on to all of those little things of all the little places they were able to hide those X's in, and then little background features that you don't see at first in your first viewing, but then in your second, your third, and your fourth, you're always finding something new about the movie, and I that's something I really appreciate about it. But that's also my own bias.
Yeah, it's kind of like Grease. Like I had to rewatch it several times before I actually understood the innuendos they were referring to.
Oh no, man, I dislike Grease.
What do you mean?
I don't like Grease, man. It's 30-year-olds playing.
how do you dislike the greatest musical of all time?
Don't talk to me about the greatest musical of all time right now.
Second greatest musical of all time.
What
This
would you
first
say?
one is West Side Story. Come on.
West Side Story.
Yeah, number one. Come on. There's
I
no
would
denying
I,
that.
I would say it's a battle between West Side Story and Dancing in the Rain.
I've never seen Dancing in the Rain.
Great fucking movies.
I
Great
really love.
great musical movies.
Mm. I never understood the thing about Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera is shit. It was good when it came out. Everybody loved it. Nobody talks about it now. You know why? Because it was terrible.
Looking back at it now, it was terrible.
Yeah. I shouldn't say it's terrible because it's competent, but
Mhm.
it's not good.
Mm.
It's not good.
Yeah. Uh, anyway, uh, that concludes it. Again, thank you. Shout out to Emmanuel Fonseca for recommending Scotland for this versus the World. That was our movie for this week. Our albums, Let Them Talk by Hugh, Laurie, and AMO XO by No Vacation. So in case you guys want to check those out, those are the names and the movie we saw. Other than that, any final words, Jacob?
Final words I have to say. What is it? I don't know. I really I like the albums we had today, and I really did like how we differed on this movie because usually we usually agree, but this one we differed on. It's interesting. It's interesting to hear your point
Yeah.
and then hear mine. Also, final thoughts would be just for the audience that OCL and I right now are going through summer school. Or him going through summer sessions. I'm going through summer school. Uh, same shit though.
Yeah.
But so if these don't come out as consistently as we like, we're sorry. We apologize, but we're also stacked with homework as well and all this other stuff in the background. So be patient with us. We're gonna continue this podcast because we love it. But sometimes we'll miss a week or 2 weeks because of technical difficulties. So please be patient. We have our social medias. We usually post on there to tell everyone. Make sure everyone's caught up.
But yeah. As Jacob said, yeah, like we're both going through summer school right now. Calc 2 is really kicking my ass right now, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, so like, if we're not gonna be able to make a podcast for a week or two here, uh, we apologize. It's not what we want to do, but it's what we have to do. Because again, like we have homework and summer session at a community college. You only have a month and a half to learn what you need to learn in 3 months. So it's pretty jam packed. Other than that, um, I'm Hugh. This is Jacob. This was our podcast, and thank you for listening.